Washington football team. There were players within the locker room, anonymously of course, that were challenging the coaches for the Cowboys. It just seems like they didn't respond. Andy Dalton, stripped, falls into the end zone. It is a safety. Beginning of the game, the woes already start. Washington would lead 2-0 at that point, score 9-3 right now. Washington football team with the lead. Scary Terry, John back and forth with the DBs, and then he scores. And then he puts his hand down saying, he's a little baby. That's what you do when you dunk on somebody in the NBA. All right, here we go. Andy Dalton trying to make something happen, and he is not making something happen. We talked about that defensive front, the linebackers and defensive linemen, and Andy Dalton yelling at the guy saying, get it together. I have no time. I need to throw the rock. Kyle Allen drops back. He's looking for his wideout, and he catches it. Logan Thomas, the big fella, he gets in for the end zone. Seems like the Washington football team had much more juice in this one. And even when they were trying to get it going, Zeke Elliott makes another mistake. He drops the ball. It is intercepted. Just seems like when it rains, it pours. And speaking of that, 3rd and 10, you see the score. Andy Dalton trying to make something happen. He slides feet first, and he gets hit. And this is something that we don't want to see. He takes a brutal shot. Shoulder pad, head, helmet to helmet. John Bostic kicked out the game. I'm not sure he was trying to do that. Maybe it was the way that Dalton slid. Either way, John Bostic was wrong in that one. Ben DiNucci would come in. He introduces himself to the world. And the Cowboys' woes continue. Shout out to the Washington football team. Let me give them credit because they dominated from the jump, 25-3. But let's hear from Mike McCarthy on just what the heck is going on in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, a hit that caused a disqualification. But yeah, well, I mean, we speak all the time about playing for one another, protecting one another. So yeah, definitely it was probably not the response that you would expect.
When you say not the proper response, is that something you will address with your team?
I've answered the question. Can we go on to the next question, please?
Did you think the hit was dirty?
The player was disqualified from the game, so I think it was clearly. I think we all understand clearly what a hit is categorized.
A frustrated Mike McCarthy. Understandably, the Cowboys only managed to put up 3 over Washington. It's tied for the second fewest points scored, guys, against an NFC East opponent in the last 30 seasons. Talk Cowboys to me, Kyle.
All right. How are we going to fix this thing? I think for a second we have to set aside even just winning and losing, and that sounds ludicrous, but we have to. The Cowboys have to hit rock bottom at some point. Was that it yesterday? Because I thought it was the national game against the Cardinals. It wasn't. I don't think it was this either. Now they got to play the Eagles, who they could easily lose to, and then they got to play Pittsburgh, who they could lose by 50 points to. So what is the rock bottom here? When can we hit it to start rebuilding? Because now it's not even about winning. It's about putting a product on the field that is not going to embarrass yourself. The whole Diggs thing with McLaurin, completely embarrassing. The whole aftermath of the Andy Dalton thing, completely embarrassing. I think Mike McCarthy saying next question up there and not even wanting to be there is embarrassing. To his point, we talk all the time about having each other's back. The starting quarterback gets completely nuked on the dirtiest hit of this decade, and everybody stands around in this numb fog and does nothing. I know it's a hot take to say they should go fight him. You know what? They should go fight him. And I think they didn't because either they don't know Andy Dalton and don't care about him, or they just don't want to be there and they're numb and they're waiting for the clock to spin to get off the field. So sure, can they run the ball against Philly next week? Who cares? Can they just do something to stand up for themselves and give us any sort of decent product? It's a really bad part, and I'm telling you, this is going to get worse. Peter, how close are we to the Meet This Man Ben DiNucci from James Madison profile you're going to do?
It's coming. It might have to come very soon. We'll see what Dalton's deal is. Watching this game, and I think of Jerry Jones, and this guy loves to win, but he also loves to be relevant. He wants to be the topic. You lose 25-3 to Washington, you're in risk of having the CBS 7 crew do your game the next time you play on CBS, not Nance and Romo. There's an irrelevance factor that's now playing in here. I don't want to watch the Cowboys. They're not fun. They've got the worst offensive line in football. They've got the worst linebacker play in football, and they don't even put up a fight in these games. This to me is going back pre-Jimmy Johnson, like the late Landry years, the late 80s. And I'm not being dramatic of like, I don't really care to watch the Cowboys. They're not fun. They're not interesting. They don't have any dynamic players on the field at the moment. And there are other options. You're at the risk of having one of the bottom crews from CBS and Fox do the rest of these games and no one shrugged their shoulders at it. And that is not the way the Cowboys are usually playing football or how Jerry Jones, the owner, wants their team to be viewed.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I have to. I have to call out their superstars. I mean, if I praise them and cheer for them when they ball out, I have to do the same when they're not. Amari Cooper, where are you? 7 catches, 80 yards. It's not enough. It's just not enough. Ezekiel Elliott, where are you? 12 carries, 45 yards, averaging 3.8 in this game. Where are you? And it's not just because you guys are good. It's also because you guys are getting paid very well. And I'll bring it down to money. If I'm going to criticize quarterbacks for making $100 million, I'm going to do the same for the Cowboys running backs and receivers who are making top dollar without the top performance. And I get it. You might have to abandon the run because you guys were down so early. But I need more out of you guys. Maybe even it's just the energy, like Kyle's saying. If you guys aren't balling out, the rhythm isn't there, you're not making plays, I would love the camera to pan to one of you guys on the sideline and somebody yelling except for Andy Dalton, who's getting beat up in the backfield. I need the superstars to act like superstars on the field and on the sideline when things start to fall apart.
Let's try to bring these people up. It was some Packers. How about the Green Bay Packers? They came off a rough game last week. What did they do? Aaron Rodgers over the last 3 seasons has been unconscious after a loss. I mean, really the best player in the world. Will he do it again? Scoreless. 3rd and goal. Casual. Devontae got him. Devontae Adams. I mean, I know DK's incredible, and we're loving him, and he was incredible. Is that the best receiver in the NFL? Do these two have to get together and settle this thing? 21-7. Got him again. Watch the move he makes here. Whoop! After the catch, gone. Devontae Adams went 100% nuclear in this game for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hey, what's up, Lucas Patrick from Duke? You got a chest bump from Aaron Rodgers. The Packers roll 5-1. Texans didn't have much.
Crazy finish, Atlanta and Detroit. Let's get right to it. Todd Gurley. Okay, so the Falcons are down 16-14. Gurley, just go down, get the field goal and win this game. Gurley tries to go down. Jamie Collins is signaling touchdown. They call it a touchdown, which now gives the Lions plenty of time to come back and lead themselves on a big. Stafford's looking, hits, touchdown, Hawkinson, no time left. The Falcons left too much time on the clock because Todd Gurley scored a touchdown at the end when everyone knew he should have taken a knee. I don't even know if he could have controlled it. Crazy finish. Lions win.
More highlights ahead. It has been a vintage Drew Brees season so far at all. Yesterday, 12 and the Saints offense were clicking without Michael Thomas, without Emmanuel Sanders. We're breaking it down next.